So this is actually bittersweet for me because following this is currently, this could change, currently the last live wrestling show that I'm seeing in 2024, and that makes me sad. That makes me sad because goddamn, this show was fan-bloody-tastic. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Pro Wrestling Noah. In particular, we are talking about their UK tour, which I was fortunate enough to attend probably about 2 to 3 hours ago, and I want to get my thoughts out there on this show and tell you why this was a fantastic evening of pro wrestling and why I had such a blast at the show. But before I dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So first off, I just want to say this is not going to be a typical play-by-play review that I usually do because I couldn't take notes or anything like that. Being at the show, I was transfixed on the show and the action that was going on in the ring. So I will go through some of my favourite matches, some of the highlights that I recall, but in terms of like a full-blown review, that will not be this video. The other thing I want to dive into is that obviously this was a few hours ago, and I'm amped. I'm jazzed up. This was everything I wanted it to be, and for me personally, this was one of those surreal experiences, like watching the ring and being like, I'm watching Kaito Kiyomiya, the GHC champion, wrestle in front of me. I'm seeing Kenoh wrestle. I'm seeing Jack Morris wrestle. I'm seeing Marafugi wrestle live. That just gives me goosebumps. Like, it's one of those things where I can run down a list of people that is like bucket list to be able to see wrestle live. And you've got Marafugi for me. You've got Kaito Kiyomiya. It's very rare that these Japanese companies like New Japan, like Noah, come across and do UK tours. So I was just like, my jaw was just on the floor. I was like, I can't believe that I am fortunate enough to be witnessing this. And in terms of in-ring action, this had some of the best wrestling that I have seen this year. Like, there were some incredible matches on this card that I had an absolute blast with. An absolute just unabashed fanboying out because the wrestling was so good. But before I touch on the wrestling, I just want to touch on the production of the show, which I thought could just be very samey, but I really appreciated the touches that they made to do. This didn't just feel like an indie show. This felt like a Noah show, down to the commentator, down to the colour of the ring ropes, down to the time calling. I really appreciated the little touches that were thrown in there to make this feel like an authentically Noah show. This was not an indie show with like some Japanese wrestlers, some Pro Wrestling Noah wrestlers on the card. No, this was a Pro Wrestling Noah show, and I really appreciated those touches throughout the entire event. Then we've got to talk about the wrestling because, my God, I want to start with this one. It's apt, really. It's apt that we talk about the very first match, and that was True and Lacey versus Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane. One of the best tag team matches of the year. This was insane. This was so good. It was so fast-paced, so just full of energy, so hard-hitting, with some insane displays of athleticism in this match. This was incredible. I know Alpha Wolf's incredible. I know that Dragon Bane is amazing. But seeing them work together as a unit, because I've just come off watching the M1 Victory, where a lot of singles matches there, seeing them work together as a tag team, as Los, I can't pronounce it, Golpadores, let's go with that, that's the last time I'm saying it, working as a team was fantastic. The step on moonsault that Dragonbane did was fantastic. You had great hot tag sequences. You had some really great near falls in this match as well, with Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane picking up the win. Props to True and Lacey as well. I thought they looked fantastic in this match. It was an utter pleasure to watch this match live. It was one of the best tag team matches that I've seen all year, to be honest. The next match that I want to touch on is Taiji Iizawa versus Luke Jacobs, the current Progress Wrestling World Champion. My God, this was great. This was really, really great. I really love what Taiji Iizawa was doing with his character in Progress over on his Excursion, his stuff with G-Money. I think his attire is fantastic. I think he looks great. He's so great in the ring. He's so underrated in terms of people that I've seen wrestle live. He was incredible, pulling out some incredible moves like moonsaults, and he had some great super kicks in there. He managed to work heel a little bit as well, working over Jacobs, who's of course from Manchester, so of course people are going to love him. And that was just really, really cool. Luke Jacobs picked up the win, which is the right decision. He's the Progress World Champion. That was just, this was a really great singles match on the card. Considering this was an event with only 2 singles matches on it, I thought the singles match, Taiji Iizawa and Luke Jacobs and G-Money and Masa Kitamiya were both fantastic, like really fantastic. But this was an evening of banging tag team wrestling, which is something we don't see enough of. Speaking of, let's talk about maybe my match of the night. I really, really liked this, and this was Lycos Jim versus Jack Morris and Yohei. And the reason that I liked this is because they were telling a great old story with Kid Lycos and Yohei. They just gunned for each other straight away. They were just destroying each other, and then you had a really nice handshake between Jack Morris and Kid Lycos too for a nice little laugh. It was really, really good. This was really hard hitting. You could feel the intensity sort of coming out of Lycos in this match. Going after Yohei, you had some great hot tag sequences. I think Jack Morris is so good. And yeah, this was really, really well worked. Kid Lycos picked up the win over Yohei, and they have set a GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match for London, which is tomorrow. So if you're not going, get your tickets, because that's going to be an absolutely banging match. That'll be Hayata and Yohei versus Lycos Jim. Yeah, this was really sensational stuff. This was an absolutely incredible match. The next match that I want to talk about is Naomichi, Marafugi, and Asuka taking on Yuka Sasaki and LJ Cleary. I'm really sorry if I butchered those names, but this was so great. This was the surreal moment of, I am seeing Marafugi wrestle live. Like, this is the man who inspired Will Ospreay. This is like a legend, and I'm getting to see him wrestle live, and he is incredible. He's so funny. He's so charismatic. This was a really, really good match, but he stole this match. He was so good. He had some really funny moments. He had a great sequence with Sasaki when he went for his big signature kick combo, and Sasaki was dodging every single kick. That looked just crisp, just absolutely perfect. And I think LJ Cleary is so good. LJ Cleary is funny, charismatic. He's great in the ring. I think there's a great junior heavyweight feud there to go on between him and Asuka. Like, that writes itself. And yeah, this was so good, and I was just so happy to see Marafugi wrestle live. This was just something that this'll stay with me. This will be like one of those things where I'm like, I got to see Marafugi wrestle live in the UK. Like, that's just gonna stay with me forever. That was absolutely it was just a fantastic match. It was really, really, really great tag team action. I will shout out Manabu Soya and Tate Mayfair's versus Hayata and Saxon Huxley. This was really, really good. The crowd were really, really hot for Saxon Huxley. This was so fun. Really enjoyed it. Hayata is great to see wrestle. I've seen Hayata wrestle live at Wrestle Carnival, and it was just great to see. I love Tate Mayfair's. They're all really, really good. Now, the main event. Kaito Kiyomiya and Kenoh versus Axel Tischer and Ricky Knight Jr. was everything I wanted it to be. This was just everything I wanted it to be. Everyone looked fantastic in this match. Ricky Knight Jr. is one of the best wrestlers in the UK. Axel Tischer is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the UK. And going against one of my favourite wrestlers of the year, which is Kenoh, and the GHC champion, which is Kaito Kiyomiya, of course this was going to be magic. This was so good, and they told a really, really great story in this match, and that is the build towards the GHC championship match in London, with main animosity in this match being between Kaito and Ricky. They were the two focused on in this match, and then you had the sort of veterans of Tisha and Kenoh going after each other, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this match. They had such great chemistry together. I think the match tomorrow is going to be absolutely banging, the singles match. I think this was just exceptionally well done. Kenoh is fantastic. When he got into a striking match and he was delivering those kicks, those insanely stiff kicks that he does, I was just like, this is everything I like. This is the pro wrestling that I like. And then there was an insane spot where he hit a diving foot stomp on Ricky Knight Jr. Ricky Knight Jr. got up and just clocked him, and then you had a great quadruple down, I guess you could call it. And eventually, Ricky Knight Jr. picked up the win, pinning Kaito Kiyomiya, which I think is fantastic. I don't think Kaito loses anything as the world champion being pinned. I think he looks sensational in this match, and that builds drama for tomorrow, which I think is going to be exceptional. I think it's going to be exceptional. I think it's going to be an absolutely exceptional match tomorrow, and I can't wait to watch it. I think this was a incredible build, a fantastic tag match, and capped off a solid 2.5 hour show that had all killer, no filler, and is one of the strongest shows that I've seen live. It was a joy to see this live, see Japanese pro wrestling live. That's not something I am fortunate enough to see every day, and this was a really, really special experience that I will remember for a bloody long old time. I had an absolute blast at this show, and I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Were you a fan? Were you there live? Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.